It's 93.5 KDAY Morning Show. Romeo in the building, and today for me is legendary. Cypress Hill in the spot with me. What up, fam? Y'all good?
What's up, bro?
Yeah,
Things
good.
good.
Show a couple of days away. You about to shut it down in the city of Ontario. I already know how y'all do. You know what I mean? But let's talk about this new single that you guys got, man. Crazy.
Yes, it's crazy.
It definitely is crazy. I had a chance to put my ears to it. It's a crazy track.
Yeah, it's a different sound. You know, we try to stay out of the box and do things a little bit different. You know what I mean? So, you know, I think Muggs hit it on the head with what he saw in terms of production.
Yeah.
You know, something that was upbeat in that particular song, but still different than anything else out there.
And when hearing the track and then the title of the new album, Elephants on Acid, it kind of like made sense to me at that point.
Yeah.
Who came up with that title? Who gets credit on that?
That was Muggs. Muggs came up with the Elephants on Acid theme, you know, concept and all that stuff. And, you know, we just sort of went to work on what that was, you know, as a team. And, you know, yeah, so everything sort of like plays off each other in terms of that Elephants on Acid title. You know, all the songs sort of go within the theme, you know?
Yeah, and you guys been doing it for so long. Obviously, there's a motivation because it's what you love to do.
Right.
But, like, is there a blueprint when y'all do records? Does Muggs or someone bring the track first and then you come up with the title and the hook like Dr. Green found? Like, how did that create? How did that come to life?
I mean, it's all different, you know. It's all we always work off vibes. Sometimes he'll give us beats to you know, vibe off of and see if we catch something off of it. Sometimes he'll create them right there in front of us, which is the hardest one because, you know, he's pretty meticulous and when he puts his beats together, so you got to hear him start, stop over and over. So it's kind of, that's when it's really tough to get the vibe. But like when he gets it going, it's like then it just all starts clicking. But realistically, you know, we don't really have a blueprint for how it goes down. Sometimes we'll write a song first and then wait till the right beat comes for it. So you know, it just plays off of a vibe. But
it's just about how it comes to life.
Yeah, but in terms of this particular album, he had a vibe in mind, you know, in terms of Muggs and how he wanted to this to play out.
Yeah.
Make it a dark psychedelic album, which, you know, in hip hop right now, no one's doing that type of vibe.
That's
especially
true.
With the sounds that he's fucking with on this album. So
that's what's up.
You know, he just wanted to do it different. And, you know, us being a unit that we've always been, we always just sort of adapt to what he brings to the table on production.
Okay.
And it made it interesting, man, because it's very different. You know, it's dark.
Yeah, I'm telling you, when I heard it, I was like, yo, but I mean, I was singing the hook in my head over and over by the time the track was done, you know what I mean? And that track is just so grimy. I love it.
Yeah, Crazy is one of the more upbeat songs on the album. Like a lot of the other songs are very, you know, gritty, you know, grimy. So, you know, this is one of the one that has a little bit of light to it, but it's still different. And, you know, that's who we've always been. Try to do, you know, what no one else is doing. Yeah.
Well, let's go back to the mid 80s for a minute. Bobo hooking up with Mix, well, obviously Beastie Boys, just that whole little situation. Yeah. How did that come to life? Which obviously there's still a relationship there right now.
Wow, you know, my first tour with Beastie Boys was 1992. 1992 Check Your Head tour, and Cypress was opening up, and that's how I initially got introduced to them, you know, and meeting Sen Dog first, and I wound up hanging out on their bus a little bit more than Beastie Boys because there was more action going on over there.
You think? You think?
And you know, we just developed you know, a friendship, and you know, never really thinking that where it would go, but they invited me to do Soul Assassins Tour 1993, House of Pain, Funk Dubious, Cypress Hill, Hooligans, and the rest is history. Yeah,
it really is. It really is. And what's some dope collabs that you guys have done? Now, obviously, you've done some major ones. What are the ones that stand out that you're glad you did collaborations with? Like, obviously, Snoop and Be Real, Vato, love that record right there. Yeah. How did that one come to life?
He called me not too long after they put out the first version of it with that had Pharrell on it. And, you know, there was a little bit of controversy with that one. So, you know, Snoop called me to get on that. And, you know, Pharrell made a ferocious beat on that. I mean, it was sick. One of my favorite Snoop Dogg songs. Now, I didn't have to even be on it. See, it could have been somebody else on the chorus. Dope song. So, you know, I was surprised when I got the call for it because the song was sort of already out there, but they recalled it back and asked me to do the chorus instead. And it ended up being one of my favorite songs, one of my favorite collaborations. And when I do solo shows, I find a way to implement that song into my set.
Yeah, I've seen you do that too.
Yeah, so shout out to Snoop Dogg. That's my brother right there, man. He's always been down with Cypress Hill and down with myself, and we've always found a way to work with him, whether it be us playing shows together, on the 420s type of shows, cannabis-based shows, or music. He'll call me, I'll call him, and we'll find a way to make it work.
That's dope, man. Now, when we think of Snoop Dogg, you think about how much he loves football. You know what I'm saying? He supports rock with the Steelers. Who is your go-to team? Are you watching football this year? And how do you guys feel about Nike and their situation with Colin Kaepernick?
Go Raiders.
Well, I'm Raider Nation too on that. That's for sure, man.
Raider Nation all the way. I don't know. The other story there, I try not to get involved. I take a former player mentality, either if he's on the field or not, I have to go play and do my job type of thing. And that's what all the NFL other guys are thinking. Yeah. While he goes through his trials and tribulations and whatnot, the rest of the guys have to show up and play, and I respect the rest of the guys for showing up and playing. Yeah, I mean, if you want me to tell you who I want to win, I want to see the Raiders do it. Yeah. And I want to see them kick the Broncos' ass, and Kansas City too every year.
And the Chargers, who can't leave them out.
Yeah, but I got to give a big shout out to the Chargers now, because they did, a big thing by coming up to L.A. Yeah. It's a risky move for them, being they had a home base already for many years. So they're from L.A. now, so we got to show them some love. You know what I mean?
Okay, I respect that.
Yeah. Like Sen, I grew up a Raiders fan. So definitely a Raiders fan. But I told myself, when we finally get football back here, I'll support the team that comes here. And the Rams came here before the Chargers, so I'm in support of the L.A. Rams. But I wouldn't mind seeing the Raiders go all the way as well, because that's the original team. Yeah. So, but in terms of Nike and Colin Kaepernick, I think it was a bold move on behalf of Nike. I think it was great that they took that chance and showed solidarity with Colin Kaepernick and what he was trying to say, and they gave him a job.
Yeah, they did.
They gave him a job.
They're cutting that man a nice check.
They gave him a check. So, salute, Nike.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you got to feed your family, you got to eat, right?
Yeah, because at heart, what he was trying to do wasn't what it turned into. And that gets lost in the argument on taking a knee and shit like that. So, kudos to Nike for that. And
I agree. And I think it could have been handled differently until, unfortunately, our president stepped in on that, you know what I'm saying, and just kind of threw a curveball and took it a whole different direction. Of
course.
So I think it's very important with midterms coming up that, you guys should encourage people to get out and vote if they want to make change, because that's how we do it, because politically, I think we're all kind of a little on the fence when it comes to that.
For sure.
It's very unfortunate. Now, let's talk about the NBA, though. No, you got tickets.
Yeah.
Can we talk about LeBron being here? How excited did you know that was going to happen?
I had a feeling it was going to happen, I think some of us had a feeling, some of us hoped, some of us just knew it was going to happen. Yeah. And then there's other people that didn't want it to happen. Like, oh, no, we don't want him over here. He's just trying to compete with Kobe's legacy. Man, get out of here with that.
Thank you for saying that.
Reason being is that some of our fan base, some of the Laker fan base complain, we don't have a star. We don't have, we don't have someone to lead the team. These youngsters need somebody with experience and, blah, blah, blah. Here we get the best player on the planet, and they found a way to complain.
I can't
Quit
believe
complaining, baby. We got the best player on the planet.
The best. We do.
On the Lakers.
And what I tell people is like, look, why'd you really hate him? Because during the time LeBron was getting his rings, the Lakers weren't really competing to go to the finals anyway.
No, they weren't.
So it ain't like he was in our way.
Yeah, and he got, 3 rings to Kobe's 5.
Yeah.
Get over it. Kobe retired and put the stamp on it and passed him the torch. Yeah, he did. Now he's a Laker.
Hey, I cannot wait. So we're looking at definitely playoffs, probably, right?
Yeah, I believe we're probably deep in the playoffs. You never know.
I'm with that.
We'll see what Luke Walton does as a coach, because he got weapons now.
But he also has his hands full. Rajon Rondo.
He sure does.
Stevenson. He got his hands. He got work to do.
But he learned from 2 of the best coaches. Or what? Yeah. I don't think it's a situation that he can't handle. It's about does he have time as a coach? Do the Lakers have the patience to give him time to be able to work that out?
Yeah, and I hope they do.
Because if he doesn't work it out quickly, figure out how the process rolls to communicate with these new players and the young players and the mix of them. Could be there might be a call to Phil Jackson one day.
Yeah, Hey, Jeannie, can you get Phil on the phone?
But hopefully for Luke, he gets it together because we want to see him do well. I mean, he was a Laker. He had rings with us and everything. So, it would be good to see him direct this team and get him to the top.
I totally agree. Now, I know you guys are short on time. I go to rehearsal. So we did post something today.
Word.
We want to, people, KDAY Nation, go ahead and answer a couple questions, all right?
Right.
So on Twitter, we got Ed Gaffis said, why do the DJs change for the tours? Is there a reason for that?
What in general or for Cypress Hill? I mean, for Cypress Hill, Muggs toured with us for the first half of our existence. You know, he wanted to get in the studio and be creative. And sometimes when you're not sometimes, but when you're a producer, being on the road could be a distraction from producing.
Right.
So if we were to stop touring due to the producing, people in this day and age, out of sight, out of mind.
Real quick.
So, we had to keep it rolling. So, we had Julio G, legendary hitman Julio G.
One of my mentors in radio. Love me some Julio G.
And he will be at the Great American Smokeout with us.
Nice.
And, he toured with us for 10 years, putting in that work with us. And he is a member of Cypress Hill, that's the way we look at him. Mixmaster Mike is touring with us now. But, Julio is still one of us, just like Muggs is still one of us. That doesn't go away. We just wanted to try something different with our show and, seeing what Mixmaster Mike had done for the Beastie Boys and what he did to the Beastie Boys show in terms of how creative he got and the way he sort of mashed up the set as it went along. That was appealing to us. We wanted to try something different like that. And I mean, Mixmaster Mike is one of the best turntablists in the world. So, we thought let's combine that, because we know as a hip hop band, we don't never toot our own horn about the shit, but we know we have one of the best live shows.
Absolutely.
In terms of hip hop.
Kings of the West, y'all shut that down, I'm telling you.
So we wanted to bring a different element to it because, we've been doing it a certain way for so long. We're always just trying to challenge ourselves. So, who best to challenge us? Mixmaster Mike.
Not mad at that.
Sometimes he'll throw stuff in that, we may not have been ready for, but it turns out so dope, and we're all looking at each other like, hey, this shit sounds pretty cool. And so it's a new experience, and I think it's going to translate when we play this set with Mike to those hip-hop crowds that really see what that is. We're excited about that, and we've played shows with them, and some of them have been pretty crazy, but I know the set of shows we got coming up, they're going to really appreciate what he's got popping back there.
Gonna be dope. All right, let's go to the Instagram page. We got _Celtic_Punk. Don't know why he even got on the list with Celtic. Who's your favorite rapper? Like, who motivated y'all? Who inspired you? I know you got love for Kendrick Lamar. You compared him to Pac because of what he does, what he brings to the table.
Yeah.
But who would be you guys' favorite rapper?
For me, it's, Chuck D has been that for the longest. From back in the day, from when I first started. And also Run and D from Run DMC.
Yeah.
Very influential cats in my life. And all three of the Beastie Boys, as well as LL Cool J and Big Daddy Kane.
Got that list.
The list don't stop.
Too short.
No, it's hard to cut it. It's hard to narrow it down, though.
Yeah, it's hard to narrow it down because there's so many influential, hip hop dudes, rappers that it's just you're a fan of all of them. Ultramagnetic, you know what I mean? The list goes on.
He said one, Papa.
No, I gave you a whole era.
1 times 10.
A whole era.
1%.
What about you guys? What do you think?
Well, I mean, for me, Chuck D was always a favorite of mine because just the message in his lyrics and just his voice made you stand at attention.
Yeah.
The bass. How low can you go? Oh shit. I mean, it's very powerful and what he's saying. So he always stuck out to me. I mean, I have a lot of favorites, but my go-to guy was always Chuck.
All right, what about you, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, Public Enemy meant a lot to us coming up. I mean, Run DMC and them were pretty much, the template of what would mold us as Cypress Hill. But as rappers go, you know, I've always had like the three favorites. You know, KRS-One was one of my biggest influences. You know, just because the way he shifted styles and the things he was saying within that. Not only did he have style, but he had substance in there. You know,
Definitely,
so
yeah.
you know, I think he was always the king. You know, amongst all rappers, if there was one king, that's the guy, because he changed the game. But aside from KRS-One, you know, the other two favorites of mine, and these are my top three every time anybody asks me, is Eminem, Jay-Z, and KRS-One.
Damn, interesting.
Those are my three favorites. I've worked with two of them, Eminem and KRS. Got to get Jay-Z on that list.
Let's make that happen.
Come on, Jay.
You know you listening, Jay.
Come on,
Get
Jay.
up to it with B.
Come on, Hove.
Come get in this studio.
I'm working on an album with Scott Storch. Hove, come bless me,
Ooh.
dog.
That's gonna be hot. That's gonna be hot. Now I gotta tell you this too. What you guys do when back in the day when we think about rappers, when I hear you, I know it's you. Jay-Z, Nas, you know, but just go down the list. I know who it is. Today, There's a lot of cats I don't know who's who.
Sound the same, yeah.
Now, is that just where hip hop is going? Do you think it's a great move forward, or do you kind of feel like it's holding us back and away from where we used to be?
Well, you know, hip hop goes in cycles.
Right.
You know, what the masses are listening to now, it'll change in the next 5 years to something different. And that's always been the case. It's just a cycle. But within each cycle, different, you know, the subgenres start. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so you went from hip hop to all these different sorts of styles of rap within hip hop. You know, all the different fusions from, you know, people doing rap in with dance hall rap, with rock rap, with, you know, all these different things, right?
Yeah.
So it's now in a phase of the mumble shit. And I like some of it. I am not a hater. If I'm DJing, please believe I'm going to pop some of that shit on because I like it. Some of it's, you know, trash. But that's been the case since, you know, any form of music has come out. You have your fair share of good shit and a fair share of trash that lives amongst the good shit.
True.
And it's just a matter of opinion on who thinks what is trash and what's dope. You know what I mean? So. Yeah. There's always this cycle. It's just that for a time, the trashy shit might be what everybody's listening to before the cycle changes and they're listening to something else. So for me, you know, everybody sounding the same, it's kind of whack, obviously, because in our time, everybody was distinct, like you said.
Yeah.
You know, you knew when certain records coming out. You knew when you heard a Public Enemy song or a Run DMC song or an NWA song or this or that, right? In that time, everything was very distinct. Now, like you said, it's very cookie cutter. So, you know, I think that's in part to blame by the record companies that sign a lot of these artists, you know, that sound like the other artists who had a hit, that sound like the one before him who had a hit with the similar type of song.
Yeah.
And then you have all the independents, you know, coming up, like looking at, okay, well, that's what they're playing. That's what's hitting. I got to do some shit like that. So, you know, not everybody's thinking, you know, on an original landscape in their music. They're like they're chasing hits that someone else did.
Yes, instead of building their own little lane, you're right.
Right, and that's what's happening right now.
Man, Cypress Hill hanging out with your boy Romeo here at 935 KDAY. Elephants on Acid, when is that going to drop so they can pick it up?
September 28th, it drops, finally.
Long time coming.
Yes.
Hey, cannot wait to hear that. I appreciate y'all chopping up with me, all right?
Thanks for having us.
All right.
Get it.